Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. We are live and it's the Premier League roundup today. Yes, we've got 30 minutes to get through every single game. Do you think we can do it? Because I can't lie, there's some doubts. I have some doubts. I want you to get your comments in because I'm going to try and get your comments in as well. But the main focus is to get through every single game as quickly as possible in that 30 minutes. All right. I'm with Steve K today. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, how you doing, mate? Looking forward to tonight. Some big games over the weekend. So, yeah, looking forward to getting stuck into it.
All right, let's get the clock up. The clock is there. 30 minutes starts from... Where are we at? Just press that. Start. Let's go. Steve, the weekend started. You predicted a 2-1 victory for Liverpool. In the end, it was a 3-3 draw against Brighton and Hove Albion. What's your thoughts on this game, quickly?
Yeah, I mean, what a game. I mean, I would have loved to have been there. I said in last week that I felt that it was going to be a tough game to Liverpool, and it was. I thought they'd come away with a win. But obviously it's ended up in a 3-3 draw. Excellent match. Liverpool struggling now, in ninth place. Fantastic hat-trick from Trossard. Got a goal there right at the death. And which gave Brighton at the point. And to be fair, before Liverpool scored, it could have been 4-0. Another assist from Danny Welbeck. Good day for Brighton, that for certain, and a start for the manager of the guy who I can't pronounce.
Ricardo De Zerbi, who
great start.
Is Sassuolo, and he's only ever won, I think, a third division trophy. It's Serie C.
Yeah, great start for him. Could have been 4-0 before Liverpool started scoring, and probably lucky to come away with a point in the end.
And Trossard, man, the moment he's starting to pick up not just form this season, but it was consistent last season. He's starting to get into his stride in the English league. This with Chelsea looking at him and other clubs sniffing around. Brighton could have a task on their hands trying to keep hold of him at the end of the season. Yeah,
he's a tough little character, isn't he? I mean, he's played well, for the last few seasons now for Brighton, and he's someone that they certainly wouldn't want to lose. But, he scored that final goal. I mean, what a finish that was. I mean, I think they was just about to take him off just before that. He scored that goal. I mean, the guy was limping all over the place and, big up to him. And, probably, Brighton find it hard to keep him.
And quickly on Liverpool, not hitting the heights that we're used to. Surely this is just a temporary form, or should there be a worry for Liverpool fans?
Yeah, I mean, there could be a worry. I mean, look, they're sitting in ninth at the moment. They've got a massive game coming up the weekend. They need to get something from that. Hope they don't, but they need to. They just think the things are not right. Van Dijk not playing well. Nunes still not. I don't even know if he played. I think he played. He's still injured. Midfield not right. Aging a little bit. Yeah, I feel they've got problems, and I think they need a big January. I think they need to start bringing some players in. Maybe getting some players early in that they might have wanted to bring in the summer. They might need to bring them in early.
No, definitely. Next up, we had Leeds versus Aston Villa. You predicted a 2-0 win for Leeds, but in the end, it was a 0-0 draw. However, saying that, Villa had 17 shots, 7 on target, and Ollie Watkins definitely have had a better day that day, surely.
He should have done. I mean, it's not often Leeds for the taking at their own ground, and they certainly was for the taking the weekend. I mean, absolutely ridiculous, silly sending off by Sinestria. I mean, that was in the 48th minute, and to be fair to Leeds, they did well to hold on. The crowd got behind them.
More offences, the second one especially.
Yeah, I mean, that was ridiculous, wasn't it? I mean, crazy sending offs, but I'm getting a bit mixed up. Which one was Sinestri and which one was the Chalobah? Which was the one where he stuck his leg out?
So Sinestri was the one where it was a free kick and he stuck his leg out, and that was a second yellow. And the first one as well was such a nothing silly challenge as well.
Yeah, it's stupid.
And then Chalobah's was a yellow card, and then it got rescinded and turned into a red.
Yeah, and not only that, just 3 minutes after the start of the second half. I mean, a poor time. But Villa really should have took their chances. That at the end of the day, they was playing 10 men for the final 42 minutes, and they should have come away with something. And they'll be disappointed that they haven't come away and won that game.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Ollie Watkins, he's a good player, but look, if he wants to step it up to the levels where people are talking about top 6 teams or even England, he needs to be taking them chances. He needs to be a lot more ruthless and not be such a shrinking violet when things don't go wrong. When things go wrong, so good luck to Ollie Watkins. But yeah, he needs to be a bit more clinical. And Danny Ings was fuming at some of them passing opportunities.
Yeah, especially for his England. If you want to go and play for England, if he's got any ambitions to do that, he needs to be finishing better than that.
No, he certainly does. West Ham versus Wolves. It was a 2-0 victory for West Ham, and that was the end for Bruno Lage after just one season at Wolves. So was you surprised at that?
I was a little bit when I heard the news that he had got the sack, because I've watched Wolves and I think they've been quite unlucky with some performances this season when I've seen them. But they were awful against West Ham, and I mean really bad. So I think that's come to why he's got the sack. And we've obviously not being fantastic at the start of the season, but yeah, it's sad when he got the sack. It was a bit of a shock. I don't know about you, but yeah, as far as the Wolves go, I hope they get someone come in, and I'm sure they'll be okay because they've got some good players. Yeah.
Well, what was a shock for me was more for the fact that I thought they had a really good season last year. They made some really good signings, but I think it was down to the fact that they weren't scoring goals. And when you're not scoring goals and you've got to play defensive, it's not entertaining for the fans. And when you start not scoring goals and then losing and it's not entertaining, you've not got long. You've not got long. You're on thin ice. And that was the case. He spent quite a bit of money in the summer to have this start for the season. And we know teams like Wolves, Fulham, like they're ruthless with their managers. Like if they let them go, they let them go. So look, it's Wolves has got the blueprint. Good luck to them. So it'd be interesting to see who they get, because I'm sure it'll be someone who would be able to work with the Portuguese signings that they've brought in so far this season. Yeah,
big win for West Ham though. They needed that.
Big win for West Ham. They needed it definitely. Fulham versus Newcastle, an emphatic win for Fulham against 10 men. For Newcastle gets 10 men. Fulham, Nathaniel Chalobah gets sent off. Silly challenge. But Mitrovic still scores a goal. Bobby.
Dickover Reed, wasn't it?
Bobby Dickover-Reid, sorry.
Yeah, good player.
Yeah,
I really like him. But look, this my predictions that Fulham was going to come away and win this game, but I think the whole match was governed by that sending off. I think he got sent off in the 8th minute. It was 3-0 at half time, and it was game over. It was done. I'm sure Mark Silva would absolutely be fuming. But as far as Newcastle goes, that's a fantastic win. Fulham have been playing well. Okay, they was down to 10 men. They had that, but on the plus of Newcastle, it moves them up to 7th. Callum Wilson comes back, he scores a goal, and look, you can't help look like this Almiron, can you?
Almiron. I really like Almiron. I really do like Almiron. It's good to see him scoring goals now.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I think he could have had a hat-trick, couldn't he? I think it was given offside. He could have had 3 goals, but even then he was smiling. The guy just don't seem to stop smiling. But I like him. He's a good player. I mean, what a finish that! One of his goals. What a finish that was. I mean, that was absolute quality. And he seems to be, because he never had a really good start at Newcastle. He was finding it hard to find his feet. Probably coming into a new league. People wasn't too sure of him. People were putting him down a little bit, said he wasn't good enough for the Premier League, but he's now proving that he is. And a very good win for Newcastle. As I said, it moves them up to 7. Fulham's still okay. They just need to bounce back the next game, and also two assists from Willock, which will give him confidence going forward.
Yeah, no, definitely. Look, Fulham. It shows how good Fulham are doing this season. They've just lost 4-1 to Newcastle, and they're still sitting in eighth. Scored 13 goals. So,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on Fulham staying up this season based on Marco Silva, based on the players they've got in their squad?
Yeah, I think they'd be all right. I mean, we've already mentioned two players there that Dikova Reed, and we've also Mitrovic. Having a goal scorer who's used to Premiership football now. Mitrovic is, he's spent quite a few seasons there in the Premiership, and he's a goal scorer. Yes, they have to keep him fit. If they might. If he doesn't start scoring goals, you may look around and think, well, who can? So that's important. Again, they may be needed to look in January. But I'll be really, really impressed with Fulham. Really impressed with Fulham. And players there that, I've looked at the beginning of the season and thought, we might struggle. Silver's got a tune out of. I think they'll be all right, mate. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, no.
And also big up, and also to big up Bernd Leno, because I know it was 4-1, but this could have been 8-1 if it wasn't for Bernd Leno. He made some fantastic saves the weekend.
And Marco Silva, I think, when he was in charge of, because he was in charge of, what was it, Watford,
Hull, yeah.
And then he got the Everton job after the Watford job, and I think the jump may have been a bit too quick, or it might not even be that. It could be a case of, look what we've seen Everton do since him. Like, Everton have been on a downward spiral, buying the wrong players. Just it's just not going well. So maybe that was a case of that, and people were a bit too harsh on him, because I know that Paul Merson was very, very critical of him, especially of his management when he was in Greece, claiming that the Greek only fixed their fixtures 4 games ahead. So yeah, which I thought was a bit harsh.
Yeah.
He's showing that he has got some credentials as a Premier League manager still. Next up, Arsenal's emphatic 3-1 victory against Tottenham. I know you enjoyed this one, Steve. But
yeah,
what was your thoughts on the Emerson Royal red card?
I didn't think there was any doubts that it was a red card. I've seen a few people saying it was harsh. I've seen a few people saying that it wasn't a red card. It was a yellow. I don't know what they was watching. I see someone who, I've got to speak to in the past, Stephen Warnock on Sky, who literally said the guy was going for the ball. Well, I don't know what you were watching, Stephen, but I've watched it back five. I've watched it back 5 or 6 times, and he was nowhere near the ball. The ball was 2-3 yards away from him, and he's just took him out, and he was high, and he was late, and it was a leg breaker. So for me, it was an 100% bang on red card. And also big out to last word Spurs. I had a bit on that. They all said it was a red card. So it's funny how people look at things differently. But yeah, as Stephen, who I respect as a pundit, by the way, I think he got that one wrong.
And did you expect more from Tottenham on the day?
Yeah, I did. I felt a little bit. I felt that we look at Spurs as the best counter-attacking side in the league. So I expected that as good as we are on the front foot, as good as we are at going at them from the minute, you still expect a team who you rate as the best counter-attacking side in the league, or I do anyway, to give you some kind of trouble. But I think they was, it seemed like they were scared to me from the off. They was over it in passes, but that was mainly to do with Arsenal, the way Arsenal were closing them down quickly. It was making them hit them passes quicker and hitting the ones that are longer. There wasn't no room that the space in between, the lines, between the defenders and the midfield was so condensed that we never allowed Tottenham to get their passing or hit us on the break. We was very, very good in all areas. So yeah, it did a little bit, but they got a goal. They got Kane, got his penalty. But there you go.
And Thomas Partey hitting an absolute screamer with, 20 plus passes in that move. Surely it's got to be up on one of the goals of the month.
Oh yeah. Again, I don't know if it's Arsenal. People say, "Oh, he had the time." Tottenham didn't close him down. If he had, did they see the? But this is what I mean. This is what I mean. Oh, in my hands, it's like, if when you're Mikel Arteta and you're in the training, I feel like I'm talking to, professionals who really should know this, but they got Mikel Arteta trains Arsenal to pass the ball quickly all over the pitch. That's why there was 22 passes in that move that led to that goal. The reason why that quick passing goes all over the pitch is because it opens up the players. It makes the spaces bigger. So instead of saying that Tottenham never closed party down, how about the quick passing, the movement, and the taking the players out of position so that Party can get that shot in? That's what people should be looking at, and I haven't seen no one say that, and it disappointed me a little bit, but we're saying it now, so yeah.
It is what it is, Steve. You can't expect people hate Arsenal. It's all right. When Arsenal win, you don't worry about who hates Arsenal, what they're saying. Top game the other night. 9 goals. City with a 5-goal leader, 6-1 up. Phil Foden with a hat trick, and of course the big man, Erling Haaland with a hat trick as well.
Yeah,
top game, brilliant game.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
What were your thoughts, Man United? What were your thoughts of Man United on the day?
I just thought that Man City just if you kept matching Man City on a good day, then they tear teams apart, and if you allow them to do that and you don't close them down quick enough, then you're going to get hit for 6, and that's what Man United didn't do. I thought their mobility let them down. I didn't think they was pressing. They wasn't pressing them. They wasn't closing the Man City down. It's very difficult to do that, right? But a team like Manchester United should be able to do that. They shouldn't be able to pass them. A bit similar to Spurs in a way, but and that's what happens, and that's why what's going to happen. The pragmatic teams, which I believe Manchester United are at the moment, and Tottenham are at the moment, will get absolutely ripped by teams when they're on it. By teams like Arsenal and Man City who are on the front foot from the off instead of sitting back. If you've got 2 top teams there, Man United and Tottenham, who are sitting back just waiting for Arsenal and Man City, you can't do that. If they're on it, then you'll get ripped. You'll get destroyed. You'll get it for 3. You'll get it for 6. And Man United didn't do that. The tactics were wrong. I mean, I don't know what Ten Hag's tactics were. I don't know what the tactics were at the beginning. I'd love to know what they are. It'd be interesting because I can't see Ten Hag going out there and telling Manchester United to play the way they did. I just can't.
Yeah, I've seen a few places state that Man United won the second half, but surely at that point, at 6-1 up, City had taken their foot off the gas, which Pep wouldn't be happy about either.
No, I guarantee you, he'll come off. He'll probably be unhappy at the end of that 90 minutes. He's probably gone away, probably just as fed up as probably what Ten Hag was, because he's, they let the 3 goals in. That's the type of guy, Pep is. Look, they brought on 5 subs. I think when they scored the 6 goals, I think the 6th goal, they took 4 players off, and then they just sort of the 4 players who come on never really got into the groove of the game like they did when the Fodens and the Grealish and and Haaland was on. But I think that's why they got the 2 goals back. I mean that it wasn't good. They got the penalty. It was a penalty. If you're looking for positive from Man United, they got Martial came on. He scored the 2 goals. But they're taking their foot off the pedal by then. If they wanted to go and get 8, Pep would have left those other players on, and they would have gone and got 8 or 9. It was one of those. It was one of those type of games. One for Man United fans to forget. That's for sure. And Haaland's a monster, an absolute monster. I think he scores a goal and a half now. I think that the stats come out I see earlier.
It's a joke.
Unreal. It's a goal and a half. How can you score a goal and a half?
Quickly, how many goals is Haaland going to get in the Premier League this season, do you think?
He's got to break all records, isn't he? If he goes on this type of stage, he's got to be looking at 40, isn't he?
40 goals in a season, that's ridiculous.
I mean, if you're going on this rate.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Leicester with a 4-0 win against Nottingham Forest, easing the burden on Rodgers' shoulders, buying himself some time there.
Yeah, both managers get to be in charge for another weekend, which we said last week that we felt that one of them might get the sack. But good win for Leicester. Forest have got to go again. I worry about Forest. They just can't seem to get. Steve Cooper's got to get a win this weekend. I know that. I'm not sure they're playing, but they need a win. But yeah, what can I say about Leicester? Does it prove anything to me that they're going to stay up and they're going to have a good season? Not really. I need to see them, do better than beating Forest 4-0 at home. Maddison played very well. A lovely little back heel from Daka. Brilliant goal there. Very cheeky. An absolute worldie from Harvey Barnes. All great, all gravy, all looking, all very good from Leicester. But it was against Nottingham Forest. They need to do it against better teams. So, yeah, jury's still out on their season. It's good. I'll tell you what, one thing that is good, though, is that, the players like Maddison, who were on the verge of leaving in the summer, seems to be, fighting for trying to get in a World Cup place. So,
he's focused on playing, not moving.
Yeah, he's focusing on playing. I mean, I don't know so much about the others, but yeah, a good win. Takes Leicester off the bottom of the table, puts into 19th. So yes, baby steps, but you can't ask for more. You got to beat who's in front of you. So
exactly, 3 points is 3 points. And on Cooper, he said himself that players are still getting to know each other, which is a worry. Probably a quarter of the way into the seasons.
Yeah, I mean, we've said before. I mean, buying like 21 players, in the summer window and trying to integrate them into a side in the Premier League is absolutely madness and crazy. I know the sporting director was talking about there was some news saying that they was going to sack the recruitment team, but I don't know. This guy should sack himself because he was the one who's obviously given it the he was. This was the story. This is what I read. That they wanted to sack the whole recruitment team of Nottingham Forest, and Steve Cooper's job was on the line. Fair enough, I'll understand that, but I can't believe who it actually came from because I was saying to myself, "Well, look, mate, you're the who sanctioned this?
Signing it off,
who's signing it off? So you're trying to pass the buck. It just seemed to me, mate, for ridiculous decisions, which we all see it. Even before there was kick first game of the season. But yeah.
No, very, very true. He should definitely look at himself there, especially with, like you said, 21 players is ridiculous. Never going to work. Crystal Palace, hearts broken by the man who was probably their player of the season last season in Conor Gallagher. An absolute weldy of a finish. Didn't celebrate. He looked upset as well.
Didn't he? Yeah.
But Potter's Graham Potter gets his win against a tough Crystal Palace team.
Yeah. I mean, again, tough place to go. Very tough place to go. Selhurst Park. They good start from Crystal Palace. Goal in the 7th minute from Eduardo. So they was on the front foot, and I thought, here we go. Yeah, I knew this would be a tough for Chelsea. But to be fair to Chelsea, they got back in it. Aubameyang, it just had to happen, didn't it? Getting the equaliser, keeping up his record of scoring in every debut that he's played in for Dortmund, for Arsenal, and Barcelona, and now Chelsea. So good for him. And again, like break. We've already said it. They're breaking Crystal Palace hearts. By scoring in the Gallagher scoring in the 90th minute. I mean, you couldn't write it, could you?
Yeah, no, you couldn't write it. Otherwise, it'd have been like, no, this is too cliche. This is too obvious. But it was. I was just like, I can't believe he scored, and it was such a great goal as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely incredible. I mean, the kid's got a lot of talent in me. I know you're a big fan of him, Kieran. That you've waxed lyrical about him many a times, and rightly so. He's an absolute quality player. He's back on the bench tonight, against Chelsea.
And that's the problem. That's
Chelsea.
the problem. Which doesn't feel like he's got a place at Chelsea, which is going to be in line with his development.
See, I believe that. See, these type of things. I mean, who am I to tell Graham Potter what to do? But I don't like that. If you've got a young player like Conor Gallagher, who we can see could become anything, could become a great player, great Premiership player. He gets that. He does that. He must be on a confidence high. He must be buzzing after that, even if he wasn't buzzing on the pitch when he scored. You play him the next game. Surely you play him the next game. You don't sort of drop him. To play him in a Champions League game after he just did that. Surely, just that must give the guy, massive confidence going forward in his career, in his Chelsea career, and trusted the manager if more than anything. But I still don't fancy Chelsea kids. I still don't rate them. I think they was lucky to get a win here. And again, I've looked at their team tonight, and it just looks very disjointed to me. It looks a bit of like thrown in all over the place. But we'll see. We'll see.
I think Chelsea under Graham Potter in the future may be good. I just think Chelsea under Graham Potter right now is going to take time. Graham Potter to integrate how he wants into a team like Chelsea is not something that can happen overnight. He's going to need the right players. They're going to have to buy into what he's doing, and they're going to have to have belief in him, because a lot of these players are probably more experienced than Graham Potter is himself. Didn't have a playing career. His managing career started at Østenstat in the third division of the Swedish league. Like, there's probably players looking at him with, like, where he's not playing him and thinking, "Are you having a laugh, mate?" So it's going to take time. He's got to wean out the old Chelsea mentality, but good luck to him. He's a top manager, and I like the fact that the owner has taken a gamble on him, because it is a gamble. Bournemouth 0, Brentford 0. I'm sure Bournemouth will be the happier of the team, and Gary O'Neill with more points on the table. You had it as a 1-0 win for Brentford. Not too far off. It's no scoring game.
No.
Big contentious decision in that game. What was your thoughts? Was it a penalty or not a penalty?
No, I don't think it was a penalty. Did you think it was a penalty?
I didn't. Yeah. But after I looked at it, do you know what? There's two things. First of all, I didn't think it was a penalty because one, he just luckily got his foot to it, even though he fell over and it skimmed the boot, and it was that was pure luck. He didn't mean to hit that ball, but I just think, there was just.
I've seen him not given. I've seen him not given. If it
had been a penalty, I'd have been like, look, you can see why it's given a penalty, but you could also see why it wasn't given a penalty. And what I liked most of all was the referee's decision to, once he was asked to go and have a look, he still stuck to his decision.
Yeah. But as you said, Bournemouth would be happy with that point. Obviously, 0-0. I think you might have said, Kieran, that this would have been in the last match on Match of the Day, and I think you got it spot on, mate. You called that one 0-0. Right, well, yeah. But look, both of them, I think Bournemouth has struggled. I still think they struggle. But see, I think Brentford will be all right. At the moment, they're sitting pretty, the pair of them. They're sitting Bournemouth in 13th, Brentford in 10th. So I'm sure they're quite happy with both of their starts to the season, even though Bournemouth got that, that hide-in from Liverpool. But, point, they probably both go away, half happy with that, and both, probably happy with the start of their seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. And the last one of the day, Southampton versus Everton. It finished 2-1. And Connor Cody with one goal. And who was with the other one?
McNeil.
Dwight McNeil with the winner. And a lovely finish from McNeil.
Yeah, it was good win for Everton. Excellent win. Now, unbeaten now, Everton in their last 5 games, 4 or 5 games. So they've sort of come up a little bit unnoticed, and now they're sitting in 11th. You know, Frank Lampard seems to getting something going there with them. So yeah, again, they're two new signings, scoring the goals pretty close together in the 52 and the 54th minute. On Southampton. You know, I think we were hearing tonight that Ralph Hasenhuttl jobs looks like it's really, really on the line, and he's close to getting the sack, which is a shame. I like Ralph, but you know they're sitting there, you know, down there in 16th, a little bit too close, you know, for comfort in that relegation fight. So yeah, and you know, but big up to Everton. I mean, they went behind. You know, it was 1-0. Harry Bow scored.
I was going to say, Joe Arabo looks like he's settled in well at Southampton from Rangers. He looks like a decent player.
Yeah, sometimes it's like people think that the Scottish League is similar to the Premier League, and you know they come in and they should hit the ground running, but that's not generally what happens. You know, it's taken Kieran Tierney to a little while to get going, although he's had injuries. But you know, I've seen a few Scottish players struggle, you know, from that league come in. But, you know, Eduardo was another one. He never really hit the ground running. You know, he's starting. He was on the sub bench quite a lot, you know, for Crystal Palace. Now starting to get games, scored the weekend. So it's a difficult league. It's not necessarily going to come from the SPL, come into the EPL and do well. And, you know, he started a bit slow, but now he's buzzing. He got his goal the weekend, a very good goal. It's just a shame, you know, they got nothing out of it. But again, on Everton, you know, they scored 49th minute, and literally Everton went up the other end and scored 2 quick goals. So big ups to them. Well done, Frank Lampard. Man United
worried about Southampton this season.
Yeah, worried about Southampton, and obviously, they're you know, again, there's not a lot there, have they? They've got up front, got Shay Adams up front. There's not
Armstrong,
and
they're both not prolific. They don't bag double figures in all competitions.
No,
and that's a problem.
No, they're not prolific. They still, you know, who knows, they might bring a new manager in if Ralph Hasenhuttl gets the sack, and they might be getting manager bounce, and they might pull away from it. Southampton generally do that. We're used to seeing Southampton in the Premier League now, so. Yeah, it would be a shame. So I'd like to see them, you know, survive. Used to seeing them there. Good crowd at the St Mary's. So yeah. But yeah, I worry. I do worry.
I think a big loss was they've lost Danny Ings. Although they didn't have him last season, they managed to sort of fill that gap with Shay Adams and Armstrong, and it sort of. One was scoring, one wasn't, and the other one would come in. So they was lucky there, and they went on a good run at the start of the season, but tailed off really badly by the end of the season. And I think the lack of goals from the likes of Danny Ings is catching up to him. So it'd be interesting to see they're Borgia last season as well. So and he was a danger. So you can't lose these players and expect to still survive.
Yeah, they're good players. Ain't really up top, are they? They've got Ward-Prowse, Cole Walker-Peters, who are probably their 2 top players, and they're probably in the wrong places. They need them up top.
Yeah, no, definitely. That is all we have time for. Thank you for everyone who has joined us tonight for the 30-minute roundup. Make sure you put your comments in the comment section if you have your say. Jump in early and get your score predictions in, and I will call them out next week on the show as well. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Steve.
Cheers, mate. Enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right, and thank you very much for everyone else who's joined us. I see Stephen in the comment sections. Thank you very much for joining us, Stephen. You are right. Welbeck tortured Liverpool. He was a nightmare, and he's been very good for Brighton this season. He has. If you are new to the show, press that subscribe button, press that like, and press that share. Why not? And if you are a regular, press that share and press that like. Appreciate your support. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.